I just discovered one of the biggest breakthroughs in the world of AI design. Google recently launched Pomelli, a completely free tool that lets you easily create on-brand content for your business, and if you've ever struggled with visuals and creatives, this will absolutely change the game. Now let's dive in. So today, I'm going to show you how to work with your existing brand to create some on-brand visuals and, have something that you can use for advertising, have something that you can use for socials, and generally level up your design strategy. So this is the website. This is Google's Pomelli. So let's get started. And if you load up the tool, basically you can see the tool is very easy to use. It's super understandable. There's really no learning curve. And honestly, it can do so much. It can generate a brand document for you. It can give you campaign ideas. It could generate creatives that you can use in your advertising and your social campaigns and so on. So why don't we hop right in? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my e-commerce brands that I recently launched, and I'm going to show you just how simple it is to actually use the tool. So why don't we type in the website. This is a nursewear brand where we actually sell shoes for nurses, and nurses basically spend so much time on their feet, and so it's really important that they have just a super comfortable shoe that they can wear all day. One of the sort of hindrances of this brand is that we don't have a ton of resources for design, for creative generation. And so a tool like Pomelli is just so essential and so critical to help us get moving quickly and generate some really cool creatives. So I typed in the website of my brand. I'm going to click continue. And basically what Pomelli is doing is it's generating my business DNA. It's pulling everything from the website. It's pulling logos. It's pulling colors. It's basically putting the entirety of the brand that we've created into this AI format so that the tool really understands what kind of creatives to generate for us and basically put together the best possible product for us. So as you can see, it's kind of going through the steps and really trying to understand what is Nurse Nova. As you can see, Pomelli just put together my business DNA. It's a snapshot of my business that it's going to use to create social media campaigns. And this is all completely editable. So you have the URL, you have the logo, you have the fonts from the website, you have all of the different brand colors, and you have some of the images that it pulled from the website to really help the tool understand basically what it's going to be putting creatives together for. So once you take a look at all of this, you say, cool, yeah, this looks really good to me. Click looks good. And now here's the fun part. So there's a few suggestions for campaigns, but why don't we start from scratch? So basically what I want to do is I want to create some advertising creatives that I can run on Meta, that I can run on Google, and that I can use on social to promote some of the products. So I'm going to prompt it to, and I use please. I know there's a lot of debate, but I'm a pretty respectful person, so I will even use please when I speak with LLMs. Please put together an advertising campaign that will highlight the shoes, appeal to nurses, and showcase some of the products on my website. I will run these ads on Meta, Google, and TikTok, so make sure that the creatives are optimized for these types of campaigns. All right, as you can see, pretty straightforward prompt. Obviously, the more detail that you give in the prompt, the better results that you're going to get. But why don't we try something super simple and super straightforward? So you type in your prompt, you generate some ideas, and this is definitely something to note. Any AI tool can make mistakes, so please always just double check the results. Never copy paste something directly from an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude. make sure that you're actually looking through the results and making sure that they're aligned with the outputs that you're looking for. So here you see it generated just some interesting suggestions. So your uniform elevated, made for the mass, engineered relief for plantar fasciitis. This is actually something that comes up a lot in the world of nursewear. A lot of nurses, because they're on their feet all day, they have plantar fasciitis, which is a foot condition that leads to a lot of pain. And there are a lot of shoes that basically optimize for these orthopedic features that help them relieve the symptoms of this condition. So why don't we actually take a look at this? Because I know that if we run something with this kind of language, it's definitely going to immediately appeal to my target demographic. So why don't we take a look at what Pomelli generated for us? So once you click that, you see that it basically opens a campaign window, and this is where it actually shows some of the creatives that it's going to produce for you. And as you can see, in what was that, 4 or 5 minutes, you basically generated a series of creatives that are perfectly sized for formats like Instagram stories, for formats like TikTok, and basically contain the brand, the creatives, the messaging that it thinks would be appealing based on your prompt, and just generally look pretty damn good. Use your fonts, use your graphics, so on and so forth. So with any of these creatives, if you just click into one of them, basically a lot of these are very editable. So you can actually change the graphic, you can change the words, you can effectively kind of edit any of these creatives that it produces in order to be more perfectly aligned with what you're looking for. So I kind of really like probably this one. I think this is a very appealing headline. I think there's some really good context here, and I think this image from the website is actually quite appealing. So here are a couple of interesting things that you can do. So you can generate a call to action, which basically creates this initial brand template into an actual ready to run advertisement. And it does it automatically, as you can see. All I did was click a button, and it takes the initial kind of base layer template and turns it into a direct response ad that you can actually run in an ad channel. So this is really cool. I think, it's pretty appealing to my target demographic. It gives some really good context, and it has a call to action button, which I think is going to probably be pretty impactful. So as you can see, you can, again, edit a lot of things in the call to action button. You can edit the text, you can edit the colors, so on and so forth. But let's say I like this. Let's say I'm ready to run this. And obviously, in a scenario where I'm actually generating creatives, I would spend a little bit more time on this. But for the purpose of this video, I think this is pretty solid. So let's just say this is something that I'm ready to run. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to download this because I think this is perfect and I can run this ad. But what if I wanted to potentially do this in a different type of format? Let's just say I wanted to create a different size version of this. So as you can see, if you go into duplicate, you can duplicate it with the same size. So you can change around some of the elements. You can duplicate it in a feed size, or you can duplicate it in a square size. Now let's just say I want to run this in the Facebook newsfeed, and square is definitely a good format to use for that. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this in a square size. And just as simply as clicking a button, it basically takes the layout of this entire ad and converts it into a format that is good for my specific needs. And so as you can see here, it took all of the same elements, the headline, the image, and it created a perfectly formatted square advertisement that I can use for my socials, that I can use for running ads. And you could see this is a super, super powerful tool that you can use very quickly to either iterate on some ideas that you can then pass on to a designer, or completely bypass the step of using a designer and actually go ahead and run some of these ads directly. Now, the cool thing is, I've actually been testing some of these creatives in some of my ad campaigns, and they've actually been working quite well. CPMs are low, obviously has quite a big impact in terms of what you're using for targeting and how your campaigns are structured. But the creatives, I would say, have one of the largest impacts on the performance of your ad campaigns. And the creatives that I've been getting out of Pomelli have absolutely been changing the game. Why don't we take a look at another suggestion without even prompting the tool, something that they gave us? Look at this. So cool. 12 hours on your feet, immediately appealing. People who understand the issue and who basically face these challenges on a daily basis, they see this and they go, yep, I spend 12 hours on my feet. Relieves the pressure and solution from demanding shifts, right? Wow, immediately appealing to me. Recharge after your shift. And look at that. There's a human there. They're looking at the product. This is perfectly optimized for an ad campaign. This would definitely grab attention in the newsfeed. You could see you have a comparison chart that it pulled from the website. This thing knows what it's doing. This thing knows how to optimize. Your feet deserve support. Let's be honest here. Never before has it been this simple to generate this type of creative this quickly and really sort of circumvent and bypass a lot of the issues that businesses have. You have a great product, even if you have a great website, social content, advertising content, and just generally visuals have always been one of the biggest barriers to entry for successfully growing and scaling your business. And in today's day and age, you can see the game has completely changed. Google Pomelli, it's just one of the tools, but I think this one's just really cool to highlight because it is completely free and it is so dead simple to use that literally a 5-year-old can come in and generate a full-fledged ad campaign. I strongly urge you to go in and check out Pomelli. You can go to labs.google.com/Pomelli and start playing around. Put in your brand URL, put in your website, put in some reference images if you don't have a website yet, and see what it spits out for you. I guarantee not only will you have a lot of fun playing with the tool, but your mind is going to be blown with some of the results that you get from it. As always, I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have a ton of success in your business. I hope you spend some time playing with some really cool tools. And I will be back next time with some more cool tools for you to check out and use for your business.